TNTM The Show presents Comicast 352 with your host Pablo Gunner, and I am here to talk nerdy to you about this week's comics, which is the week of August 22nd, 2018. And yeah, so we have a grade scale: buy, skim, pass, variations, strong buy, weak buy, strong skim, weak skim, passes, pass. Then we have other terms. There's the contender 4, runner up, and or back and bag of the week. Back and bag is the best book of the week, aka B-Bow. Back and bag, B-Bow, yeah. Anyways, so spoiler alert, there's going to be at least minor spoilers here on these comics. I'm going to try to blaze through them. I will have a minute timer. It's a duck this week, so that's what the noise is going to be. And there's going to be a commercial break about halfway through. I'm going to be reviewing Marvel Comics, DC Comics, maybe some indie comics. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to also try not mentioning the creative teams just to go faster. If I would, the creative teams will be tagged in the Twitter, you know. So I'm not even going to bother with it on here. If you read the comic, it's in there. So yeah, I might mention it at some point or another anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this book, which is actually a graphic novel. I've been doing this. It's the trade of the week, and it is Batman and the Signal. And I graded the issues pretty harshly when I read them, and rereading this, I don't really know why. Because I'm like, so it's written by Scott Schneider, Tony Patrick, art by Cully Hamner, Declan Shalvey, Francesco Francavilla, Minkyu Jung, Klaus Janson, then colors Laura Martin, Jordi Belair, Pete Pantazis, lettering by Darren Benet, Steve Wands, Desi Cienti. So this book is phenomenal. So this one seems like it's the first outing as the Signal. It's like he gets the name, he takes the name, he has the suit, it's fully designed. So it's really interesting because there's a lot of stuff going on with this, which is this kid, Duke, he was the one that did the Robins War. Like, he was the one leading it. He was one of the Robins, because I think there wasn't a Robin for a while or something like that, or there wasn't one in Gotham. And so he created the Robins, the We Are Robins and stuff. So there's all these kids. It was like a little army of kids being Robins. But he was the one that was most worthy. He was the smartest one. You know, he was just the best. So this is like his first outing, sort of like with Batman, and then on his own too. Like halfway through, he's with Batman. Batman's helping him, like mentoring him, like, hey, this is what all my, you know, allies, he calls them, not sidekicks, but, you know, sidekicks and allies. I think allies that have worked with him, they've trained and stuff like that. And then you see him go on his own, and he discovers that he has abilities and stuff, and it plays into this story. And it's kind of like it's a short part of his own story, but it's really well done. I really like how it's done. It's really crazy. There's a nice story too, like a one-shot with him and Red Hood. And Red Hood just being like, dude, be your own thing. Do your own thing. You know, like, don't just follow everything he says. That's how you get killed. You know, like, you need to learn how to do things your own way, too. Don't just be him. So it's really interesting. And it really is about, like, forging your own path. And he's more about the daylight and being out in the morning and the day and stuff. And that's really cool. It's really interesting. I liked it a lot. And like I said, I don't know why I graded it so harshly. It looks phenomenal. It all gels pretty easily. Like, all the art looks quite similar, not all of it exactly, but and when it does change, it seems like it's pretty thematic too, and that's what I liked, is that, like, there was early on stuff was a certain artist, and then when it changed to like him and Batman teaming up, it looked like this, and then when it was him on his own, kind of, it was a different style of art, but it wasn't too different. There weren't like huge changes. This is a phenomenal graphic novel. It is actually $16.99. But if you want it, you can have it for $10. Just put $10 into our PayPal. Donate $10 to our PayPal, and I'll mail it out to you. Send like a note and stuff, and I'll mail it out to you. Our PayPal can be found on our website at TNTM The Show. That's www.tntmtheshow.com, and that's it. You know, so that's all. But yeah, strong buying contender without a doubt. This is a phenomenal book. Phenomenal. knocked it out of the park. Looks phenomenal. Really, really great. I want more. I want more. That's how good it is. I want more. So yeah. Now let's go ahead and get into the books. I'm going to start with the Suicide Squad Annual #1. I actually didn't really plan on reading this. It is $4.99. I'm not a Suicide Squad guy. The movie was not bad considering. But here's the deal. So I wasn't going to get it because I don't read the comic and stuff. But anyways, it's like they're trying to separate these two people that are joined together with mechanical stuff, and the guy dies but the lady lives, and they're like, oh, she doesn't have much time left, stop her. And they're like, oh, well, the Suicide Squad is off dealing with the Aquaman situation. They're like, so let's make a new Suicide Squad made with the inmates at this prison that are stuck with her too. Or no, she broke out of like some hospital or something, so they send her after. And then you have Merlin Archer and all these other people that I could not care less about. In fact, the only one I know of is Merlin Archer, and it's because of Arrow. The rest of them I don't care about. So they sent him after this lady, and it turns out like there's these demons and stuff, and Swamp Thing shows up to help her, and he's like, hey, I'm going to protect her, but those demons attack him too and stuff. And then, yeah, you just see it's most of it doesn't even matter. I can honestly say I only picked this up because it has a digital code and I wanted to give it away to people, but I don't care. I could not care less about this. The most interesting things were Swamp Thing. There was a part where there's these two inmates, these two girls that are a couple, and that was pretty interesting, but it was cut short. So it was like, okay, well, I couldn't get too invested in that. So it's not worth the price of $4.99. It is pretty thick though. It is pretty thick, I will say, but I just don't care about really any of these characters. And that's the biggest problem about this. I was starting to care, and then, except Swamp Thing. I do like Swamp Thing, but still there's not even like a huge threat there. So it's one of those that I would say at best it's a strong skim. It's a strong skim. So, but here's the code. Tell me what you think. DC for Detective Comics, B for Bane 17, S for Super, F for Family, V for Villain 89, H for Hotel, V for Villain, N for Negative. Alrighty. Next is The Punisher #1, and this is kind of it's a different creative team, but the same writer as before, and so. So they actually do all this stuff where it's Hydra hijacking this ship, and then all these politicians getting involved, and you see Zemo and this other guy, and Roxxon and all this stuff, and then all these people are slowly getting tracked down and killed by none other than Frank Castle. And so that's pretty awesome, and it's pretty epic. So it starts building up. Once you introduce Frank Castle, that's when it starts getting good. Because you see, him coming back, his nonstop vengeance path, and he's just trying to ruin things. He takes out this guy. He takes out Mandarin of all people, and then he's just taking people out. So this is essentially like now he has a taste for big game, for big villains, and he's taking them out, even though he doesn't have the armor anymore. It's pretty sick. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty crazy. The art is really dark. The art is really gritty. It is phenomenal. It's pretty awesome. So this one, it was a really solid #1. So, but like there was stuff there where I was like, I don't care about this. It wasn't sucking me in. I just didn't care at first. So that being said, I can definitely give it a strong buy. Not quite a contender. Here is a digital code. F for Familia, C for Carlos, M for Marcos, J for Jacopo, U for Uganda, D for Diego, G for Gloria, 0, X for Xavier, 2, 3, H for Hector. So let's see what's next with DC, huh? With some DC comics. And I'm going to go with Teen Titans #21. And so we have the narration from this new kid who's like this pudgy kid, and they're stopping this guy named Gizmo. He's getting rich off making toys, but he's also making weapons, they find out. Robin has been doing some research. And so these characters, they go in and they just go in head first. He's like, yeah, I knew these guys would screw it up, you know, and Red Arrow, she's like, you know, we should plan this stuff. And he's like, this is part of the plan. I know they're going to screw up, Robin says. And so he just does that. He does their thing. They do their thing. But it turns out that this Gizmo has a bomb strapped to him. So like if he's knocked out, he's compromised, he's going to blow up. And he's trying, so that way it loads his consciousness up digitally and stuff. And so they're like, well, how can we do this? They try to do all these different things of like how we can save everybody. They get everybody out, you know, it's nuclear, all these things. So they finally come up with a plan. It's very risky. And eventually they just, it's last ditch effort. And the guy who narrates it, the newest character, it seems like he may be sacrificing his life. We don't know yet. So we'll see in the next issue. I don't know if I should keep reading though. Like it intrigued me. I'm like, I want to know kind of if he lives, but I don't know if I care about this team enough yet, but I might be hooked enough. So I probably will check it out. It's not bad. It looks pretty solid. It's interesting. I just like the new team dynamic. It's interesting. It's different. So I can give it, I'll give it a buy right now. I'll give it a buy. I'll give it a buy. Okay. So, yeah. Next is the West Coast Avengers, #1. And this one is same creator from the Hawkeye series, Lady Hawkeye. That's not what she's called. But anyway, so they're talking about, it's like there's this interview thing going on for a new team. And then they're talking about these land sharks and how she was there. And then America Chavez showed up and Hawkeye showed up. Katie Hawkeye and then other Hawkeye. And then this guy that's her boyfriend that has powers. And then, yeah. And then so they do these interviews, not going well. Then there's Gwenpool. So, yeah, she's part of the team. Quentin Quire shows up. And that's really cool. So, and then they have this giant Tigra that they have to deal with. And they're like, how are we going to do this? And they try it and they try it and they try it. And it's not working. So then they're like, all right, Quentin, do your thing, I guess. And then this weird dude shows up. And, yeah, he's just oddly, his name's Brodock. I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know how to feel about it because I'm just like, I was hoping it would be like I like Tigra, like a giant monstrous Tigra in there is really cool. But I was like, oh, cool, this is going to be a whole new team, you know. I mean, not whole new team, but like, you know, Katie and America Chavez and like, you know, maybe some runaways. I don't know. But like, there's like just something like you're making a team, West Coast Avengers, you know, like I was like, okay, cool, you know, some like side characters. And this was just kind of like, these are legit, like nobody's legit. Like the boyfriend, Brodock, you know, like Gwenpool, they're legit nobodies. So I'm like, I'll give it a 2-issue chance. And then after that, we'll see. Because right now it's not doing it for me. It looks phenomenal. And it's, like I said, you have interesting aspects. You have Hawkeye, you know, you have this thing introduced like, hey, somebody created these land sharks. We need to find out who it was and stop them because they're going to do something again. And then this Tigra thing happens. So, but Tigra seems mindless, so it might just be like a mindless clone. We don't know. So it's like I said, it's at least worth a 2nd issue try. That's what I usually do, and I think it's worth it. So, and then I'll decide after that probably. I'm going to have to give it, I'll give it a buy. I'll give it a buy because I'm not completely hooked, but it's not bad. Here's a digital code. Tell me what you think. F for Fantastic, C for Cable, M for Marvel. I don't know what the next one is. It might be P or B. Then 9, W for Wesker. I think the next one is a P for Punisher, V for Victor, T for Thomas, N for Nova, K for Kill, S for Super. Not exactly sure. I'll probably post that code on Facebook or something just because it might not be the correct code. So we'll see. Anyways, next is another DC book, and I'm going to go with Batman Beyond #23. Same. I don't know. I want to say it's the same creative team. I know it's Dan Jurgens still writing. It's Will Conrad as the artist. But so in this one, you do have now Batman and Robin, like Batman Beyond and Robin. So Robin shows up and Batman has a plan. Original Batman, Bruce Wayne has a bat plan. Lure them in first. These people that are attacking them that have this the scarecrow sent after them. Lure them in, and then there's this plan, but we don't know what the plan is. So you're like, okay, it gets more intense and more intense and more intense. And Robin just keeps saying, we got a plan, we got a plan, we got a plan. And even Batman, Terry's like, what? Well, what is it? What is it? When are we going to spring this plan? And so finally they spring the plan. They're like, you know, gas pellets, we're going to knock them out, and then we're going to take off. Okay, cool. That was really legit and stuff. So, but I will say, like, art-wise, it's not in conjunction with the show or the way that it's been going. Like, the way that people looked in this, I was just like, that doesn't look that much like, that doesn't look like Bruce Wayne from Batman Beyond. It doesn't like the art style from the Batman Beyond cartoon. I like it more when they stick to it. But Batman Beyond and Robin looked really cool. So did Scarecrow. This is really interesting. I'm interested to see what happens next. Really awesome cliffhanger. So, yeah, I'm definitely down for the next issue. And this one is a strong buy and a contender for sure. Next, I'm going to get into Mr. and Mrs. X #2. And so we have Rogue, and she is with Deadpool. And Gambit is on this ship with these other people, and he breaks loose. And then he does, I think he does like a crash landing at the same place where Rogue crash landed with Deadpool. And then they have the McCran crystal or shard or something. Rogue just looks adorable and cute. I love her nose. I love her nose. It's just, so yeah. And then I just love this group. We have Rogue, Deadpool, Gambit. And it's just a great group to have because you just have Deadpool being a pervert and being like, hey, kind of like, let's have a three-way, always hitting on Rogue, and Cajun is pissed off at him. And then these other people show up to take the shard, and they have to fight him, so they all team up together to do it. And it just gets crazy, and then the end is even crazier. And it's funny. The characterization is just top-notch in this. Yes, they introduce these nobody characters, but they're dealt kind of as such, and it's interesting and cool. I really like the way that they do it. So it's phenomenal. I'm loving every moment of it. I'm never bored. I'm never like, oh, whatever. It is just, it's funny and interesting, and I like it. And even if it's going slow, I'm just down for the ride. So yeah, it's phenomenal. It's a strong buy. It's a contender, so much so I'm going to hold on to this digital code until the end when I announce my runner-up and back of the week. Cool? Now I'm going to get into Action Comics 1002. It's kind of like a #2 issue. So same creative team, Bendis, Gleason, all this stuff like that. So, you know, they're like, oh yeah, someone's dropping bad guys from the sky, and it's Superman, and this girl's the one that's creating this story. So Perry's like, hey, Clark, I want you to check on this lady's story. And he's like, what? You don't trust her reporters? And he's like, don't worry about it. You know, I used to do the same thing to you with Lois, and Lois would check in on all your stories. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's interesting. So then they show the Guardian, which is really cool. And then this like smoke monster, a red cloud or whatever and stuff. And I really love Clark Kent because he's just such a cool dude. He always he totally gets people with kindness. Like he kills people with kindness. There's these gangsters, like I said, they're mourning this guy that was killed, and he goes to the bar and he's like, I'm sorry, you know, and he talks to him and he finds out this information that he didn't know and stuff. So yeah, it's really interesting. They start getting to the bottom. Cat Grant shows up, and yeah, it's the ending has an awesome, crazy cliffhanger while I'm like, oh my God, what the F? Wow, that's messed up. So I don't know. We'll see in the next issue because I'm absolutely getting it because this is a phenomenal series. Strong by contender. It looks amazing. It's brilliant. This is another one. I'm like, I'm never bored. It's always interesting. It's really great. So many different new angles that Bendis is hitting. It's crazy. And the art is just, it's perfect. So it's a strong buy and it's a contender. And I feel like I should probably hang on to this digital code as well because of how good it is. Cool. Sorry. All right. Next, I'm going to get into Robert Kirkman's and Scott M. Gimple's, Chris Burnham, Nathan Fairbairn. Die number 2. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it, but I was like, okay, I'll check it out. This is just like more death going on with not much context and a lot of confusion. And it kind of just seems like violence for violence sake that doesn't have much context. And I don't really care that much, but there's interesting things like this guy shows up, he kills his brother and then cuts his own nose off so he looks like his brother. And then this rich girl who's upset because these things happened, her hookup and other stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to get this. I'm not going to continue picking this up. I'm not a big fan of the art. It's not horrible, but it's just one of those things where it's not for me. And it just seems like violence for violence sake and with not much context. And the context that is there, I don't care about it. So I'm not going to continue getting it. So yeah, that's it for that. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's the best. So the best that I can do for this is probably a skim. I'm going to give this a skim. All right. Next is The Sentry number 3. And Jeff Lemire is the writer. So that's pretty much all you need to know. So anyways, this is the backstory though of his partner, I guess, Scout. How Scout was like, I'm tired of being this kid. I want to be the Sentry. So he goes to the brain guy, the 3 brains guy, and he's like, hey man, we're going to steal this thing from Sentry, from Bob Reynolds, and you're going to make this serum and turn me into the Sentry, and I'm going to become the new Sentry. And he's like, I can't do that. What about this guy's? And he's like, I got that. So he hooks him up. They do that. They work with each other, and so it's this whole build up to that. And then, but stuff ends up going bad, is essentially what happened. Because they're like, this isn't a sure plan. And that's what happens when you don't have a sure plan and you can't test things out, especially in science, so it's craziness. So it looks phenomenal. It was really interesting. I like it. I also, because I was like, I don't know if I care. And then they kind of made me care about this guy and stuff that is the bad guy, really, and both the bad guys, sort of. So, and just their backstory. So interesting. Like it a lot. It's really cool. It's a strong buy. I feel like it's also contender, but I'll go ahead and give the digital code away. Here it is. T for Thomas, M for Marvel, A for Alpha, 5, F for Fantastic, 1, E for Echo, 2, H for Hotel, D for Dan, 8, K for Kill. All right, let's do another DC book with Detective Comics 987. It is Hill, Mendonca, Agia, and Lucas. And so it's just the finale of this Karma guy. And they come up with this plan. I don't know. Like, it's really weird because I was kind of lost when I got into it. And I was like, I don't remember this. And then they just jump into it. And then I was like, oh, I remember Katana showing up. And Katana shows up, but she doesn't really offer that much. And then, like, they're like, all right, we came up with this plan to take him down. And Batman's like, I'm taking him on my own. And then Black Lightning's like, yeah, go for it, man. And everyone's like, he shouldn't be handling this on his own. He's like, no, it's fine. He's got it. And they're like, yeah, just if he reads your mind, then think about something else or whatever. And so essentially he just floods his mind with bad stuff to mess this guy up. And I'm like, you couldn't have done that like right away. Like, he fought him multiple times. You couldn't have done it like the second time. So I don't know. It was just, it was kind of like, it was weird how it was really easy. But the best part about it is that it connects into a bigger story, and that Black Lightning is part of this team now, and he's kind of, yeah. So the Lightning, I don't know, it was just too easy for me. The finale was kind of like a letdown. It looks great. I still love, still the best parts are still the Black Lightning stuff, but yeah. So I can give this one. I'm gonna give it a week. I'm gonna give it a week buy. It was a weak finale. It was kind of a letdown. It was like built up, and then it was like, oh, that was it. Okay. Even though it will lead to more stuff. Anyways, so yeah, that's what it is. It's a week buy. It's a week buy for me. Okay. Next is the Black Panther #3. Ta-Nehisi Coates and Daniel Acuna on this. And this one, so they talk about the mythos of this character. They talk about the mythos of Black Panther, and they're like, oh, he may be reincarnated or got his memories or whatever and stuff. And so they talk about all these things, really interesting. And then you see this guy T'Challa Nakia, they're talking, and he's like, yeah, I can get my memories back. They've been using them. Will we get into their archives and use them? And then they're like, oh, these shit. Then he just starts attacking his own ships all of a sudden. And Nakia's like, what are you doing? He's like, no, there's bad guys in there and stuff. And they're like, oh, they're attacking us. They're like, why are they sending so many forces to attack us? So they start getting messed up. Like, they're getting overwhelmed with their forces. It's really crazy. And then this crazy, the Manifold shows up. Which is freaking just balls to the wall crazy. So it's really awesome. I really love how they're introducing these other elements of the Marvel universe. Like, you have like the Venom symbiote kind of in there with this king that's in charge now, and then you have the Manifold, which I want to say it's from X-Men or something like that. So it's really interesting. So it's really cool, and I like it a lot. So it's a strong buy and it's contender. I'm definitely down for the next issue. Want to know what's going on and get to the bottom of all this. But I will go ahead and give the digital code away because I am a nice guy like that. Here's the digital code. F for Familia, C for Carlos, and for Marcos, 873. X for Xavier, E for Eleuterio, G for Gloria, I for Ignacio, J for Jacopo, T for Tomas. And get into another DC book with Flash number 53. In the grips of the Strength Force, it's Williamson Deuce Guerrero. So, yeah, this one's so weird. There's like these weird creatures, and they attack him. And he's killed all these people inside this building. And then him and Cold are teaming up to figure out what's going on with the Strength Force. Trickster has the Strength Force. But it's like his body's weakening, and then like the Strength Force is like coming out, and then like it's really crazy. So they end up, he's like, all right, put me in prison, but just keep me away from Warden Wolf because he's a bad guy. And so Warden Wolf's like, I'm not gonna let you do this here and stuff. And he's like, fine, what do I need to do? So he imprisons them and stuff while they conduct these experiments on him. And then Flash, he gets the Strength Force. So I don't know if he has the Strength Force and the Speed Force, which would be crazy because he's like this giant, Hulk out dude, and then he had the Speed Force. It would just be crazy. So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty nuts. I like it. It's enjoyable and it's interesting and it looks really great. It's interesting. So I can give it a strong buy for sure. Next is Mystery and Madripoor. It's Hunt for Wolverine. It's number 4. Jim Zub, Tony Silas, and stuff. So this one goes into Psylocke and how she was in the mindscape of this lady because she stole her soul, but she was still in her mind and stuff, and how she kind of destroyed this lady from the inside out and then reformed her body to her kind of original body, or fused her body in the ninja body because she'd been in the ninja body for so long. So now she looks different. And so yeah, but not too different. She just has her Psylocke hair. But yeah, and so they essentially finish this fight, but one of these But that rocket does get off and it does get away, and they do get some information, but it's not much. This one I thought was pretty weak as far as like the Hunt for Wolverine stuff goes, because they really barely gave you anything, and it really was just kind of like a lot of BS for not much. The whole story was kind of like, okay, was this just like a thing to kind of recreate form Betsy Braddock Psylocke? You know, so that's, yeah, it didn't really do much for me. So it was kind of a letdown for a finale issue, for a final issue, or unless they're just going to use that one combined one, but still it just didn't do much for me. It looked pretty solid. Like the Mindscape stuff was really, really impressive. So I don't know. This is another one. Anthony Silas, I'm not a huge fan of his. He's not bad, but I don't know. So this one I'm gonna give a weak bye to. Here's the digital code. Tell me what you think. I for Iceman, Q for Quasar, D for Dame, 0, O for Outrage, G for Gank, E for Echo, Key for Kilgore, 0, V for Villain, V for Villain. All right. And now another DC book with Justice League Dark #2. It is Tignon, Martinez, Bueno, Fernandez, Anderson. So yeah, and this one is the last Age of Magic. They go to visit Dr. Fate. They also talk about how Diana saw some stuff when she was young. They have to kill these monsters, and it's Swamp Thing, and turns out Dr. Fate is taken over by like his counterpart, which has gone evil, and because they broke the source wall, and they're like, you screwed up, and now you don't deserve magic, so it's turned on you. And Swamp Thing realizes this, and Constantine's like, oh, dude, you're just going to go into the freaking Parliament of Trees, you little wuss. You know, and that's pretty much it. I can honestly say I have zero interest to continue reading this book. Not because it looks bad, because it does look phenomenal, but it's just not interesting to me, and I could not care less. As well as a lot of the characters. I mean, sure, you have Swamp Thing, and you have Wonder Woman. You even have Zatanna in there, and you might have Constantine. But Detective, actually, and I'm starting to like Detective Chimp, but then you also have Man-Bat, I think, but I'm not sure, and he's kind of like, he sounded like he was completely man form in this one, whereas in the other one he was like both man and Man-Bat, but still in control. I don't know. I don't care. I really just do not care at all. So that's the biggest problem with this book. So I can give it skim. It's a skim for me. All right. And that's it for the first half. I'm going to go ahead and talk about one of our sponsors, which is Gamers Anonymous, where the gaming is the best. They meet all your gaming needs, retro gaming needs mostly, but they do carry a lot of newer stuff, especially if you talk about, they're talking about the Streets of Rage 4 announced. I need to watch that trailer because that looks, I love Streets of Rage. They're so great. Like if we get an updated Streets of Rage, that would be legit. Even just 2D, you know, side scrollers. I love them. I would love to make my own like 2D side scroller game. But anyways, yeah, so they have all that stuff going on. And you can go find them at their store and stuff. It doesn't have the address here. You can go to garetro.com. That's their website. You can call them at 505-332-0717. They're usually open from 10 to 8 p.m. And they have all kinds of retro gaming. They do have gaming stuff going on. They have Friday night movies usually. They have all kinds of stuff. They, they have this thing that's really cool, really nice that they do with the Animal Humane Society, which is they foster cats. They'll foster a cat in the store, and you can adopt that cat for like only $25-$30. And you take it home, you just call, and it's like maybe a 5-10 minute phone call to them. You know, you can leave your money there, and that's it. I did it, and I got one of the greatest. I got the greatest cat I've ever had, Tiny Rick. So yeah, but there's John is a saint, and you'll want to call him if you want to not reserve games or anything like that, but it's kind of like a reserve where you can put your name for if they get a game that you're looking for, they'll text you, but they text everyone, so it's first come first serve. They also just did a thing on disc games, but it was like I think it was like PlayStation games, mostly like PlayStation, maybe PlayStation 2. I don't know, might be some Dreamcast and stuff like that. There was a lot of them. I'm not really into those older disc games, so I'm good on that part. I like my old school cartridges myself, so I've gotten a lot of stuff from them. They're great, and I'm always getting discounts. They have a great reward system. It's 5-star. Every time I go there, which isn't often, I feel like as soon as I buy something, I have enough points to use. I have enough rewards to get a discount on something else, so then I automatically just buy something right after that. So it's really great. It works out phenomenal. So make sure you like them on Facebook. Join their community group. Everyone is phenomenal on their community group. Every time I've commented in their community group, someone helps me. Like I'll be like, hey, the sound on my PlayStation 3 isn't working. What's going on? Like the dialogue won't work for cutscenes and stuff. And people will be like, I'll get like 10 different responses, and I'll try all those responses, and at least one of them will work. And so of course I thank all those people. Same thing. I had another game where it kept on freezing. They're like, hey, and it was so great. So yes, I finally beat Mass Effect on Insanity. Thank you to all those people right there. So they're just a great community. I love them. I wish we had as good of a community. I'll be honest, jealous. Good a community, partially my fault because I don't even comment in my own community once a day. But yeah, everyone's very interactive, and it's really cool. It's really fun. They're really nice and stuff. So yeah, check them out and join them. Like them on Facebook. Go visit their store. Really cool. I think it's Wyoming and Constitution is where they're near, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So yeah, I'm going to get back to comics, starting with The Amazing Spider-Man #4. And man, Spencer is doing a phenomenal job with Ryan Ottley. And this is so good. This is so good. First, you have this guy, and he's this Mendel Strom, and he's like, yeah, I created this stuff, and I'm trying to defeat him. But the best part is that they just go into how Spider-Man and Peter Parker are now split into two different people. And, now he's losing the responsibility. He doesn't care about destruction and stuff like that and other stuff. And so Peter Parker's he's just tracking him down. He's following him, and he's like, you know what, dude, leave me alone. But then he finds out a secret that that was conducted. It was an experiment that was done with these two rats where something similar happened. But the rats both died because they were separate. They need their other half. So it's really crazy. It's really interesting. It's phenomenal. Looks great. I love this book. It's kind of a slow burn, but it's so well done that it is killing it. I love it. It's absolutely phenomenal. This is what I've been wanting from Spider-Man for so long. Thank you, God. Thank you, Marvel, for getting Slott onto something else. So getting him off of Spider-Man. So yeah, because this is great. This is great stuff. Strong buying contender. I'll give the digital code away anyways, though. F for Fantastic Fever, C for Cable, M for Marvel, M for Marvel, 4, H for Hotel, Y for Yank, U for Ugly, and for Nova, J for Jack, X for X-Men 0. Let's see if I have any more DC books. Yes, I have one more, which is The Silencer #8. And this is Bogdanovic, Abnett, and Spicer. And so we have this lady, I guess she's like an undercover something or other. She takes their family to like this Superman ripoff carnival or park and stuff. And she's like, all right, well, while they're doing that, I'm going to go find Talia al Ghul. I'm going to track her down, so I'm going to go to this place. And then she gets into it with this guy. There's obviously some power struggle going on within this thing that she's trying to find out, and they're like, hey, it doesn't seem like you really want to be with us. And she's like, oh, you guys know I'm not really a thrill seeker. You guys go ahead, So they grab a bite to eat, and then she, and then they go back to their rides and stuff. And so, yeah, and then they find out like someone's messing with them using magic, and they did a body swap with her and this bad guy. I don't know enough of what's going on. Like the fact that her family is at risk and that whole family element, that really intrigues me, and I like that a lot. That's really interesting that she's towing this line, and I like that a lot. It's really cool. It's really awesome. So, but I'm really confused, and I don't really care. And these villains are like, whatever, you know. I'm just what, you know, and yeah. So it's very interesting, but it's I'll definitely read the next one. So yeah, but it's just, I don't know. I just don't know. So that being said, I don't know if honestly, I don't know if it's in a, I'm going to give it a week buy right now. Okay. I'm going to give it a week buy right now. So yeah. Now on to Venom number 5, Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman, JP Meyer, and they save, you know, they're falling. It is Venom falling, you know, and Miles falling to their death. And he's like, hey, make a web parachute. And he's like, I don't know how to do that. Then all of a sudden, Venom sprouts wings. And he's like, oh, my God, I didn't know we can do this. And then they're like, yeah, we didn't know we could do this either and stuff. And they're like, yeah, I think we have new abilities. We can do more stuff now since we were connected and then disconnected. And then they go talk to that guy, Rex. And they're like, you know, the thing about symbiotes is we're stronger together, kind of like apes. So they do combine with that other one, but now, so they are like multiple entities combined, and now they have more powers, and they need to gain more to take down this like Dracula god guy and stuff. And it's really awesome. It's really crazy. I can't wait to read more. At first I was like, I don't know about this. And now I definitely know about this. And I can't wait to see more. This art is dark and gritty and awesome, but it totally works for it. Oh man, it's perfect. It's so smooth though. The way, like, oh man, the way that Venom looks, and just the way it just looks perfect. It really does. And I'm really interested to see what comes next and see like how they're going to mass all these symbiotes together. He's become like this, like Megatron of symbiotes almost, or something. I don't know. It's going to be really cool. I'm really interested in this. This is a strong buy. This is going to contender. Yeah, I'll go ahead and give the digital code away anyways. Here it is. S for Spider-Man, C for Chameleon, Z for Zarbon, Q for Quasar, 6, S for Super, S for Saiyan, Y for Yellow, R for Rage, Y for Yank, T for Thomas, S for Super. And I believe that's it for the DC stuff. It is. So now we can blaze through. We got Avengers vs. Mightiest Heroes. The Avengers number 6. This is the finale. We have Jason Aaron and McGinnis, you know, knocking it out in here. But so they're taking on these things. It seems like they're winning, and then they're like, all right, they're shrinking. It seems like they're going to lose this fight. And they're like, no, there's something that we can do. We can combine, you know, all our power and all our energies together. And that's how we're going to do this. That's how we can fix this planet. That's how we can do that. And so that's what they do. They all combine into this one giant celestial and stuff, and they cleanse the earth, but they haven't cleansed the final celestial and stuff. There's the Hulk Thor kiss, which was pretty great. I don't know. It's Ghost Rider looks really creepy, and Loki is just insane. It was a great conclusion. I love it. I can't wait to see more, because now we got the craziness out of the way. Now we can kind of see like some team building stuff, or like see it calm down. You know, maybe we'll see. It is Jason Aaron, so he is really good at the long game, but he can do short event stuff like this too. Obviously, 6 issues though. So this was a great first arc, and I hope it doesn't change too much in the future, but I like it a lot. It's a strong buy. It's contender. It looks great. It's crazy. It was a really great ending. I like it. So here's a digital code. Tell me what you think. L for Logan, M for Mech, E for Egon, C for Cape, O for Oscar, S for Saiyan, R for Raphael, C for Cable, P for Punisher, D for Donatello, B for Bane, W as in Darth Bane, W for Wesker. All right. Next is X-Men Red number 7, Tom Taylor, Carmen Carnero, Rain Beredo. And so they warn Namor. They're like, hey, they're sending someone to attack you. I thought it was She-Hulk at the end, but it was actually Teen Abomination and stuff. And then there's this other mission that was going on, and Cassandra Nova gets in this guy's head and is like, oh, there's mutants here. And so they start shooting at them. So the lady that can control electronics, she gets shot. She loses her focus. So the Sentinel that was above the plane now lands on top of it. And so now the plane's messed up. All the while there's this attack going on in Atlantis and stuff, and they're going to help them and stuff. It's really, really crazy. It's really intense. And they do end up handling this situation. The best part is the end where Jean Grey puts this video up and is like, you know what, even if you're racist towards us, you know, we're still going to fight for you. And I love that because, I know they put that at the beginning of every comic, but I feel like that's a message that's kind of been missing. Like there's so much drama going on, or there's just like so much things going on that they're not focusing on. We keep people safe that fear and hate us, you know. I live by that. You know, I live by that. I truly do, because I can legitimately say that people are creeped out by me. They do legitimately fear me, and some of them hate me. And I can say, as in my career and just my life in general, I do live to serve and protect people that hate me, you know. As a nerd and in many facets of life, not just, you know, one way. And so that's why I love that message that they're putting here. This really seemed like so core to the X-Men stuff, and I love how Jean Grey's carrying on the Xavier thing. So yeah, Strong by Contender. It looks phenomenal. It's a brilliant book, and it's going really, really great. I'm interested to see what comes next. Here's digital code anyways. Tell me what you think. I for Ignacio, P for Pedro, 7, Y for Yucca, 3, Z for Zorro, 6, O for Oscar, Z for Zorro, F for Familia, T for Tomas, Q for Quintana. All right. Oh, man. Next, Old Man Hawkeye, number 8, Ethan Sachs, Marco Checheto, Andres Mosa. And so this one is more fighting. There's Hydra coming after them and stuff. Kate and Hawkeye. Katie Hawkeye Bishop. But you see the big fight between the best part is the big fight between Winter Soldier and Bullseye. That is crazy. But the thing is it's not even him anymore. He's literally being controlled by these controllers. By mechanics. These guys are in a computer room and stuff, and so it was kind of disappointing the way that it went down, but I was kind of like, okay, that works, I guess. I just was hoping that he would have killed him, but you know, it's going to come down to him and Hawkeye. Yeah, you know, it's gonna be Old Man Hawkeye and Old Man Bullseye facing off. That'll be cool. And then they go to this place where I think Songbird was there, and she apologizes and stuff. I think it's kind of like a nunnery type thing, sisterhood, whatever. So it was not bad. It looks phenomenal. That's the thing, is this book has never lost a step in its art. It always looks magnificent, like purely just wonderful. And that's the best part of this book. It's just some of the parts in the writing where I'm like, yeah, okay, well, all right. You know, because it's like you have Winter Soldier, he's unfrozen, he looks like he's in his prime. Yeah, he's being controlled, but still, I still like don't feel like he would lose to Bullseye. I don't know, even being like controlled. It just I don't know. Yeah. So that being said, like I can still give it a buy though. Here's a digital code. Tell me what you think. D for dang it. 0, N for Nova, 0, 1, C for Cable, M for Mark, R for Rage, 0, 8, R for Rage, G for Glory. Now on to Darth Vader number 20. Charles Soule's the writer, Giuseppe Camuncoli layouts, Daniel Orlandini. And so we have Vader, and he looks like he's about to cut down these Inquisitors, and it's both of them. They fight against him. They make a run for it, and they're like, "We're gonna have to kill him," you know. And I'm like, "You're not gonna win that fight and stuff." And a lot of stuff gets destroyed in the process and stuff. Of course, Vader, he's strong in the Force. He messes them up. But the Emperor is like, "You know what? You're making too much noise in my city. You know, I'm trying to run this empire, and you're making me look bad because I can't even keep things straight in my own city. You killed this senator that I was controlling, and so now I have to find somebody else to control, and that's going to take work." And he's like, "But I got you a gift, and it's the ship, Padme's ship and stuff." And then he's like, "I want my own planet." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll give you my home planet, Naboo. You know, I'll give you whatever you want." And he's like, "No, I want Mustafar." So it's all right. It's kind of like just a connecting issue, not necessarily filler, but just like it's a connecting issue. You know, it's interesting, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like it when Vader looks huge, though. I like the idea of like Vader just looking like this huge dude. You know, I don't, and so like, especially in the suit, and sometimes they don't make him look that big. So yeah, I don't know. It's a buy. It's a buy for me. So, because it's kind of just like a connecting thing. I don't feel like I absolutely need it. Here's the digital code: F for Falcon, C for Charmander, M for Millennium, X for X-Men, Z for Zarbon, G for Gank, K for Chameleon, U for Ugnaught, Z for Zabrak, S for Saber, B for Bane, 8. Now it's X-Men Gold number 34. Mark Guggenheim is the writer. R. Michelle Bandini is the artist, and this one's continuing the whatchamacallit stuff, the Storm stuff. She's with Storm and with her family and stuff. There's a little thing with Kitty Pryde and Ilyana Rasputin. Ever since someone mentioned that she's from Chicago, I now imagine her with Chicago accent, so it's very funny when I hear her voice. And then you have Ilyana, who's Russian. But yeah, I like those voices in my head, though. But Storm starts getting to the bottom of this, and there's like, oh, all these guys has these dead people. And he's like, oh, they're not dead. They're very much alive, but they are being controlled. And he's like, you shouldn't have snooped. You know, you got your family back and everything. You done messed things up. So that guy looks really cool. The voice for these characters and everything in this is really well done. The way that they look visually, the way that they're written. They have strong voices. Even if they're not characters that I know of that are brand new, I still hear a strong character voice with them. So this is another book. It's really great. So it's a strong buy for sure, and a contender, even though it's not really, doesn't feel like an X-Men book entirely because it's just focused on Storm mostly, or like really 3 X-Men. So yeah, here you go. T for Tomas, M for Marcos, A for Alamos, U for Uganda, H for Hector, Q for Quintana, 7, C for Carlos, 6, K for Kilo, 5. Now Logan, Old Man Logan, number 46. It's Brisson, Cusiero, Lopez, I think. And so there's this creature, this disease creature or thing that lands from space, and it takes over this stuff, and it takes over this city. Logan meets up with Alpha Flight and stuff, which is pretty cool. Seeing him reacquainted with them, they go and try to figure out what's going on with this town, with this thing that's taking over. It's like plant-like and stuff. And they find the village people and stuff that are in it. It's really crazy. It's really interesting. I'm interested. I just want to see Old Man Logan die, though. I want to see Old Man Logan die, and I want to see Wolverine come back. And really, that's why I'm reading this series. It is really cool. It's really interesting. I like it. Characterizations are pretty fun and enjoyable. So yeah, it's it's not the best, but I can still give it a strong buy. But it's not a contender material. Here's the digital code: W for Wolverine, T for Tank, F for Fantastic, U for Ugly, D for Damn, W for Wolverine, V for Vegeta, Y for Yank, A for Alpha, X for X-Men, 8-2. And last book, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 85, $3.99. Kevin E. Smith, Bobby Curnow, Tom Waltz, Brad Revel, Rhonda Patterson. So this one is another one where it's just kind of like they go and check something out, and then there's a disturbance at the museum, and it turns out it is Killer Croc. And so they go and they do have like a little tiff with him and stuff, and they're like, you know, we can settle this stuff. He's kind of going nuts and takes off. But yeah, this is really just like a connecting issue of what's going on, and that's pretty much it. It was okay. Like, it was just all right. It's just kind of felt like filler. So I just was like, it's okay. It's not bad. I can give this one a buy. I don't even know if I've ever given Ninja Turtles book a buy, or at least a main title. So yeah, that's it for that. But I still have to mention my my runner-up and B-bow for the week. So I want to go ahead and do that for sure. And yeah, so yeah, DC was kind of weak. I felt like this week. Well, I don't know, with the exception of Superman Action Comics and Mr. and Mrs. X. So I'm gonna go ahead, Mr. and Mrs. X. I'm gonna give that the runner-up. It was really great. My only tiff is that, yeah, it's kind of moving slow, but I like it and it's enjoyable and it's funny and it's great. So I don't really care that much that it's going slow. But that's the only thing that Action Comics 1002 has over it, is that it's moving the story along quite well in Action Comics. So here's the digital code for Mr. and Mrs. X number 2, which is 519PY45R6FDJ. And then Superman Action Comics, like I said, is my B-bow. It's really great. And here's the thing, like I said, all that stuff that I mentioned, but there's more to it than that. Spoiler alert, here it comes. And Can't Grant is great. But you find out that that reporter, she's part of this evil gang of villains and stuff. And she wants some kryptonite so she can weaken Superman. And then you also find out that Lois is back. But she's been like under disguise. So and you're like, whoa, Lois is back, which means the Sun is probably back too. So where are they, and how come they haven't said hi, or what's going on with that? What's up with that? That's crazy. So emotional stuff, crazy stuff, good stuff. Strong buy, contender, B-bow. It's phenomenal. Looks great. Here's your digital code. DC for Detective Comics, A for Alpha 17, S for Superman 7. I think it's G for Glory. I want to say it's, yeah, and then 2, then P for Pain, P for Pain, P for Pain, P for Pain. 4 Ps. I think that's it. If it's not, tell me, and I'll post a picture of it online, as well as with any of these codes. If they weren't read right, tell me. I'll post them on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Maybe all 3 if I have that many codes. So yeah. So thank you for watching. And, you can find all of our stuff at TNTMTheShow. That's where the Facebook, website, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and our YouTube, our website, all of it. So talk nerdy to me, I'll talk nerdy to you, and keep your eyes hungry for comics.